Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. Sitting here is my 1970 Triumph Spitfire named Tanker. And in the last video you saw me tear into this bulkhead to try to discover the real truth that's hidden beneath all the Bondo and the fiberglass that was here. So in today's video, we're going to get cracking on it, see if we can go ahead and get this thing fixed up and get a good plan going to replace all this metal. So stick around, it'll be a good video. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and kind of grabbed some rubbings of this so that way I have a decent template. Got it over there. Don't know if I'm going to need it or not, but got that. And then I took some old screwdriver here, flat edge, and just kind of marked out where I think that I'm going to end up cutting. This is good metal. There's no pinholing or anything here, although I wanted to wire wheel to it before I make a final determination. But I think I'll end up potentially just saving this one and then making my cut here. Although I've got this, so I'll have to kind of make a cut and then a cut. But essentially, this is going to be a patch, this whole section here, and I'll probably end up coming over. One of the ways I've thought about doing this too is to just do one repair patch here, right? Just to kind of cover this section, this flat section. That way I don't have to worry about trying to bend it. And then what I can do is I can come in and I can do another repair patch here to come down and around and then go over. So let me go ahead and show you what's on the inside and kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing. All right, so there's a lot here, but this is pretty much on the other side of where I was talking about, where, you know, I got my reference finger here, but cut this section out right here, and then I'll just make a new piece that just goes all the way across, nice and easy. And then what I'll end up doing is coming in from the inside here, and I'm going to drill out some of these spot welds or plug welds that hold that heater box on. And I don't think I'm going to remove the whole heater box, rather I'm going to remove just the bottom of it, because I really don't feel like coming up and dealing with the cowling up here. I don't know if there's going to be much benefit to doing that versus just trying to do what I need to do for repair work all from within here. So I think that that's probably going to be the approach that I take. So really, let's get grinding. We're going to clean up the metal a little bit up here first, figure out if this is actually good and salvageable. And then if it is, we'll start making some cuts and get down to business. All right, so I wire wheeled this a little bit, and the pitting is heavy, and there are some spots where it's breaking through. So I think that I'm just going to make the decision, and I'm just going to cut this whole pedal box. Cut this whole pedal box out, and we'll just have to work with what we can. So let me get a line drawn, and I guess what we'll do is we'll start cutting. I want to be as gentle as possible with this because I really do not want to damage the metal, because I'm going to be using this as a template. So I'm going to definitely proceed with caution. All right, time for a quick update. So I've started drilling out the spot welds as I could find them. And then I came around to the inside of the heater box, and I have started to do the same. I don't know, I may have to go deeper on some of those, but I'm trying to not go too deep because I really don't feel like damaging the heater box. So I don't know, wish me luck. Let's see what we can do. All right, well, here it is, folks. I got it out. So I was able to keep it all intact, which is what I wanted to do. So let me put that down here real quick. What I did is, just like I was talking about, I'm gonna go ahead and I cut right along this bend. And essentially when I put my new piece in, it's just gonna sit right there. I did not want to cut into this corner of the, here, focus. Did not want to cut into this corner of the battery box area, but I ended up doing so. It was so rusted, it's not worth keeping. So, not a big deal. Now, what I need to do is work on cutting this out as best as possible. And kind of go from there. I want to try to, like I said before, salvage as much of this heater box as possible. So I just want to be really gentle around here, which I don't think should be too big of a deal. So I should be able to make my cut across here. And then I'm going to try to cut here, 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 and then over. Yeah, it'll be a little bit of a jigsaw, but I'm trying to preserve as much of the original metal as possible. So, not a big deal. So, I'm gonna go ahead and keep cutting, and I will update you once I'm done. All right, time for an update. So, I did, like I said, I'm going ahead and cut out all the bad stuff here. And there was a lot. There's a lot. Let me bring you around to the other side. So, that is what I did. I still have more to cut out, and I got to figure out the importance of this flange here, because I'm not going to be able to reproduce that. I mean, I might be able to try to fill it, but it's still pretty rusted. I don't know. Maybe you guys tell me how important that flange is, whether or not I can just maybe replace that whole piece of metal and just put a circle in and doesn't need the flange, or if the flange is actually needed. Let me know in the comments. The heater box itself is pretty roached. I don't know though. I'm gonna have to see about either replacing it or see if I can fix it. I'm pretty sure I could fix it, but it's rough. It is rough. But the nice thing is that now that I've got all of this out, I actually have access to parts of the car that I did not really have much access to before. So I think before I fill this all in, I'm probably gonna come in here and actually clean this all up and prep it for paint while I have access, right? Because why not? And I'm gonna have to clean this up. This isn't too bad. Should be able to wire wheel that and get that all ground down and be good. But as you can see here on the heater box, this thing it's seen better days. Again, you know, like the repairs are not difficult. You know, I would come in here, I would just put in a new patch from here to here. This is obviously for the drain, and these little holes I could probably go ahead and fill. But then again, along down here, this is all pretty rough, but I think maybe once I take a wire wheel to it, it may look a little bit better. I mean, it's not structural, so it's not like it's important that it's super strong, but I do not want it to rust anymore, and I want it to look decent. So that's kind of where we're at. All right, so now that I got this cut open and kind of committed now, I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, and I'm going to grab some lunch, probably hit this back up a little bit later on tonight or tomorrow. Check you in a few minutes.
Several days later.
All right, so I'm back. It is now Monday night. Between family and having a couple of leftovers of Thanksgiving dinners, I haven't made it out here again to try and do very much. So what I have done though is I've gone ahead and made a little bit more of a plan. So I took a wire wheel to this again, and it is like Swiss cheese. And then I got some bigger holes down here that were kind of exposed, but for the most part this is relatively solid. I do have a few spots though where it's, you know, pinholey. And then same here, there's a couple of little pinholes here and there. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm sorry I don't have my light on yet, is I'm going to cut out some of the rust that's up here. I'm going to attempt to fill these few little holes here, and then get up inside of here from the other side. And I'm going to cut this corner out and attempt to reshape that. I have gone ahead and actually already kind of got a line on 2 or 3 of these heater boxes But before I spend money, I'd like to see if I can do anything to try to repair it. If I am successful in repairing this, what I'll do is I'm going to use these little holes that already exist down here as just kind of plug welds, and I'm just going to drill these out to make them actually decent sized plug welds. And then here I'll probably just put in a new little strip of metal just to fill that in because it's already too far gone. So that's going to be my plan for that. And if that is successful, then what I'll end up doing is, like I was talking about before, I'm just doing a chunk of metal straight across, a couple of small patches to fill that in, and we'll go from there. Of course, before I do that, I'm gonna end up getting in here and treating all this rust. I'll hit it with the angle grinder if I can to try to just clean it up. And then I'll hit it with Master Series and we'll call it a day. Well, of course, I'll do some rust remediation first, some naval jelly, and then Master Series. So let's get cracking. Well, you know, sometimes things just don't go the way that you plan. And that was the case here. So I went ahead and cut it. I tried to salvage it, and it just looked like absolute garbage. So I said, that's it. I'm gonna cut it. But I'll use this little bit here as a template. I'll put in some new metal. I'm just not gonna have that fancy pants flange there unless I come up with a neat way to try to make it. But so yeah, that stinks. I hate getting beat by that, but it is what it is. So I think what I'm going to do now is try to look into fixing the other bit on the other side. And then if I can get that done, I'll come back and treat the metal, and then I will look into trying to repair this. All right, so here it is. I've been cranking away for the last hour or so on this, and there's my patch. I was actually able to do it. I made one patch and it was a little bit of a failure in terms of the bends. So I made another one, and this is what we ended up with. I still have some more grinding I'm gonna do, probably with my flap disc or with the little 2-inch sander, but I'm pretty happy with that. Down here, obviously, is gonna be a little area of certain need and help, but I shouldn't have much of a problem with that. If I was able to do this, I should definitely be able to take care of that. So I'm pretty stoked. So that tells me that I do not need to replace the heater box. So I have some more finish work to do on it, but I'm relatively happy with it. So that means that the next step will be to come around to the inside and just finish the metal work here. And just kind of hand scuff and get all that cleaned up as best as possible. I think that tonight I'm going to hit it with the grinder real quick to just flatten down the welds a little bit, and then hit it with petroleum jelly overnight so that way it can do its thing to convert the metal, convert the rust. All right, so it was a short night tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up here for now, and then we'll catch you in the next moment. All right, welcome back. Last night before I closed up for the shop for the night, I went ahead and I put naval jelly on that panel, and then I covered it with some plastic wrap. So right now I'm actually on break during work, so I got a few minutes, but let's go ahead and peel that off and neutralize the naval jelly. All right, now I'm going to hit it with a torch to just dry it real quick. You don't want to leave anything wet. Now it's time for some All right, welcome back. I'm out of work now, so it's time to go ahead and pick up and get cracking on this thing. So what I did earlier, actually, when I got out of work initially, is I did a little bit of work off camera because I wanted to try to just kind of get an idea of what I was going to do, and it actually came out pretty decently. So here it is. So I made this little piece with some 22 gauge metal, so it is lighter steel than what's on there typically, but this is going to be for the back housing of the fan unit, and I figure 22 gauge should definitely be more than adequate for this, and it allows me to give it that nice little bend there that I made. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but A, it'll be hidden, and B, it's functional. So let me show you where this is going to go in. All right, so there we go. We got this just tacked in with the magnets for the time being. As you can see, it's not the prettiest of fits when it comes to that flange right up in here, but you know, it just gives it a little bit extra strength. It's more about function, and that's really about it. So we're gonna go ahead and work on getting this welded in, and we'll see where we're at that point. So let's get welding. And we're back. Oh wait, you're not supposed to see that yet. So over here, I got this welded in. I still have a few little spots that I kind of blew through that, like right here. I'll have to clean up, and it kind of got a little wonky there towards the end, and the metal started to separate just a little bit. So it's a little bit uneven, but frankly, I don't care. It sanded down pretty smooth, and the transition there worked out all right. And again, not totally worried about how this looks because it is going to be hidden. But onto the part that I showed you that I wasn't supposed to show you yet. I've been busy. I kind of just got on a course of listening to some good trance and cranking away. And so I made this patch. This is actually all one piece. And I used my workbench, as dirty as it is, as a metal brake. And I went ahead and I put that bend in there. Before I go ahead and weld this in though, I do have some more cleanup and prep I need to do. I need to like clean this cut up here. And then I also have to actually hit the back side here. Let me show you. I want to hit that with some more navel jelly and just kind of clean up that rust so that way it's no longer covered in rust, and maybe I can just throw some paint on it real quick while I have relatively easy access, because as you can see, you're not getting to that too easily from the other side. So yeah, that's where we're at. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up there. I think this is a good stopping point for the video. I was hoping to get the entire bulkhead into one video, but as I've been doing this progressively over the days, I've been throwing this into video edit, and I'm seeing that as of my last check, we're at about a 15-minute video. And with what we've done tonight, we're probably gonna be closer to a 20. So I think we'll go ahead and call it a day there and cut it on this video. So tune in for part 2 of the bulkhead. I have some good plans of how I'm going to go ahead and rebuild the bulkhead using some 18 gauge steel, beef it up a little bit, and go from there. I know some purists may not like me for it, but I think it's going to work out just fine. So I can't wait to show you guys what we have to do next. So if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, click the bell to get those post notifications. And remember, when working on project cards like this, don't be that dreaded previous owner. Cheers.